Hello my friends, today I decided to do a small video. Actually a friend of my friend got a foreign student here and she kindly agreed to give interview for my channel, which I'm really excited about. Truly I am, like, it's so hard to pull people into if they're not already in YouTube. Okay, so she agreed to tell, she's actually from Italy, her name is Gaia.
Yeah.
And she came here as exchange student for school program for 1 year. So she will tell more like I'll ask you a few questions and then we will try to embrace like why she came, how she came, where the idea come from, what advice she can give you. Okay, let's go.
So,
here.
hello everyone.
Okay, Guy,
Yeah.
could you introduce yourself a little bit more than I did?
Sure. Okay, so as she said, my name is Gaia and I'm from Italy. Particularly, I'm from the south of Italy, from Puglia, which is a region of Italy, which is the country. And I am 17 years old. I left when I was just 16, so at the end of the third year of high school in Italy, which means that I'm attending the fourth year of high school here, so I'm a grade 12 student. The only difference is that in Italy we have 5 years of high school instead of 4, which means that this year I'm gonna graduate, I'm gonna get to go to prom and all the stuff that you do when you are 17 in Canada. And I go back to Italy and I'm gonna just keep on going with my real life, regular life, so which means last year of high school.
Okay, perfect. So, can you tell us where the idea to come to study in Canada or study abroad at all come from? How can you implement this education, whatever you get here back in Italy?
Okay.
So, like in terms of your plans for the future and
Sure. Okay, I will start by telling you guys where the idea comes from, and I will tell you guys my plans for the future. So everything started when I was 15, so second year of high school, and I heard about this agency in Italy, which is actually international, but it's very, very popular in Italy, which is called AFS. This agency lets students from second, third, and fourth year of high school to go to abroad, like abroad anywhere, to study a new language and live in a new culture for an amount of time that can be 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. When I heard about it, I started to get more and more information because I was very, very interested into it. First of all, for the language, I was really curious to learn English, because the way they teach it in Italy is not the real English. You will never get to learn a language unless you go and spend some time in the place where they speak it. Because books or, yes, TV or shows, that help. They help a lot, but it will never be like living and actually having a conversation with people who speaks that language as a first language. So I was very, very interested into doing this kind of program and experience. And first I thought to do it without saying anything to my parents, because I wasn't sure they would have allowed me. And I started to get informations and I started to go to the first meetings. But when I got to the point where I really needed some signatures, I had to tell them. And I also had to hear, Gaia, that's not going to happen. Like, it's too long. It's 1 year. It's a lot of time. I am not going to be able to...
She went for 1 year. She
Yes.
didn't want anything less than 1 year.
Yes, I didn't want anything less than 1 year, because 3 months to me means the vacation. 6 months is awful. Like, the idea that the moment when you start to actually really live the life here is around the 5th or the 6th month. So the idea to get to the 6th month and just be pulled out from the reality that they just created here was just awful. So I said, no, I'm just going to live there for 1 year, live the whole experience, the full experience, and after that I'll be satisfied of what I've done. And my English, that was the most important thing, will probably be better if I spend more time. So I got to tell to my parents, and when they saw how motivated I was, they decided to say yes, and they allowed me. It's expensive, yes, that's for sure, but it's the kind of sacrifice that your parents will do, knowing how much you can gain from this kind of experience.
So, and we are like flowing to our second question. So, what is the advantages of having two diplomas in Italy?
Okay, so as I told you guys, I get to have one diploma from Canada because I'm gonna graduate here at the end of this experience in a month, and I will get to go back to Italy and then my high school in Italy. So I will get two diplomas, one from Canada and one from Italy. The good thing about getting a diploma from Canada, which is a very known country, back to Italy, is that I could just come back and start to go to university right away. I don't have the need to go to school in Italy and finish my high school. But the thing is that I want to have both diplomas, one from Italy, one from Canada, because the opportunities are doubled, which means that I can get to go to university in Canada as well as in Italy, which will work as well even if I didn't get the diploma from Italy. But one thing is if you get an international diploma and you use it in Italy, and one thing is if you have your Italian diploma and an international diploma, which is the one from Canada. So you will get to have twice the opportunities and twice the recognitions back to Italy. That's the way it works in Italy. I'm not saying that's going to work in the same way everywhere, because Italy recognizes Canada as a very, innovative country, which is not the same for others. Like Indonesia, I have a friend of mine is there and he doesn't get to have my same, treatment. Yes. So it all depends on the kind of country you go to.
Okay, we are flowing to our fourth questions. Probably you did consider several countries. I mean, when you talked to me, I heard at least about 3 or 4. So why the Canada was the choice? And
okay, this is actually a funny story because I get to choose with my agency 10 different destinations. I have a top 10, so my first one is going to be the one where I really want to go to. And I've been struggling until the last second before I handed my portfolio in, because I didn't know if I wanted to put Canada or New Zealand first. So to be completely honest with you guys, what I did was to get a coin and go with the game of the coin and pick one or the other, because I really couldn't choose between each of them. There were so many positive things about one and positive things about the other one, and they are also two completely different realities. I'm really, really glad I picked Canada because it's been a wonder, and still is a wonderful experience, but I can't say that it was my first choice for a real reason. Like it was
kind of
I was struggling.
When you don't know what exact experience you are going to and start stepping into the future, step into the unknown, it's truly okay to have doubts about what should I do, and when you have two choices, it's not that many choices you have to make.
And it's not like if I had known something about these two countries. I had just done my researches, like Google stuff, but never been to Canada or either to New Zealand. So everything was just unexpected. I could not expect anything in particular. I was just gonna go and try.
So of course, after having been here for 7 months, I guess
almost 9.
Almost 9.
Yes.
So you can tell us 5 difference between. Like I asked her before to get ready for that question, and she pick right away.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 differences between school system in Canada
and
in
school
Italy. System in Italy.
That didn't take me long because there are so many, and it's they're just so little things, but they make a huge difference. Let's start from just the lockers. There are lockers in Canada, which means that the students have the time to go to the lockers, stop by and grab their stuff. In Italy, that doesn't work like that.
Lockers they have their own space, their cupboard there.
Yeah.
Where they with the lock where they can
store
their stuff.
Exactly.
In the school, books, your. Is there a wardrobe here? I don't know.
The wardrobe? No.
Because in Russia we have wardrobes. It's similar to wardrobe in Russia, but this is the local, your personal, kind of professional.
Yes, there are a few hangers in there where you can, leave your coat, but it's for the books. So you actually leave your books.
For the books.
That's a huge difference, because what Canadian people do and the system is that students are supposed to change their classrooms. So each period they change and switch from one course to the second course. In Italy it's completely different, because you have your own 24, 25 classmates They are always the same people for 5 years long, and you don't change your classroom. Teachers do. They switch every year. They switch.
Even in high school, you don't go between classes. You sit
We
in the
don't.
same room.
We sit in the same room. That happens when we go to university because we have to change the classrooms because they are made by like 100 students. But when we are in high school, we don't get to change the classrooms. Teachers do. So that's why we don't really have the need to go to a locker and grab new books because we have our own backpack with all the books inside and we live in the same classroom. So that's pretty big difference. The other huge difference is the amount of subjects that we have and the organization of the subjects. The Canadian people here, they have 4 months, almost 5 months for the first semester, and it's when they study 4 specific subjects. Once they are done with these 4 subjects, they do their exams and they don't study those subjects anymore. They switch to other 4. In Italy, you have 10 subjects the whole year long. So at the end of the year, that's when you get to do the exams on the 10 subjects. And you get your marks for the 10 subjects.
Yeah, I mean, like the finals ones.
Yes.
And the marking is like the same as in Canada, like percent, which top up to
No,
100.
that's not how it works because we don't have percentage. We have over 10. So the best mark is 10. It's not 100.
So the final is the final, right?
The final
Exam is the final mark.
Yes, the final exam is the final mark. So there is not like an adding of assignments, of homework that you got done, or this kind of stuff, or lab reports. No, it's just the exam at the end. So is that the moment when you have to prove that you actually learned all this kind of stuff? And it's kind of tricky actually because if that day you don't feel well, if that day
Exactly.
something
All
happens,
screwed like for life. Not
Yes.
for life. You have a chance to retake
but I mean,
it.
yeah. We do have that, but at the same time, it's the big deal and it's something that you want to do once in your life. It's just bad, the idea that you have to repeat it again, So that's another big difference. And I would say the importance that Canadian people give to subjects such as I would say phys ed, fitness, or all these sports they are involved in, we are not. We are more for sitting at the chair and studying physics, math, literature, and all this kind of stuff. Sports and phys ed or going to the gym are considered...
Especially in high school, yeah.
They are considered like hobbies that you can actually do, but after school. And that's the other thing. We don't work until we are 18 in Italy. So we do have free time. So we do have time to spend at the gym, time to spend at dance class, time to spend playing soccer, and all this kind of stuff, which is completely different from Canadian people who don't get that free time that we have.
Was it 5?
Think so.
Okay, perfect.
I do think so.
So we see it's different, like Italy different from Russia, and of course different from Canada, and obviously you see how like Canada different from Russia. I mean, I don't know, they changed a little bit. I'm like old fashioned, I don't know what exactly happening now, but you got the idea what's happening, okay? And the last question, what advice can you give for people who really looking into studying abroad and broaden their experience, kind of for high school like people, or for people who are going to the college in Canada, because you know what college in Canada means already, or university, or like what advice, like how do you see it?
I decided, like I can tell you guys my own idea for the future, which connects to an advice for others. I decided to finish my high school in Italy to get, of course, my second diploma. And now that I've been here for almost 10 months, like my experience is almost done, I can see how many differences and bad things and good things there are compared to Italy. So the idea is that, to me, the best thing to do is to go and try to any country. It doesn't matter where you want to do. Go and try the life there before you decide to, invest all you have in that kind of experience, because you never know. You might go there and have some expectations that are not actually what you are going to find there. So what my advice would be to go, live the experience, for a few months and decide after that if you really think that that's the place you want to live, you want to move to, because it's a big deal. I mean, it's not like me. I'm doing something important. It's like 10 months experience away from home, just 17 years old girl. But that doesn't mean that my life is going to be in Canada. That means that I've learned a lot, and I got to meet so many people, and so they're just so wonderful. They're so friendly. They're so nice, but they're not my family, and they're not the friends I have always had in Italy that I miss very much. So my suggestion, my advice is to go and try the life there. Because what I did, my mistake was to start thinking about the language. I want to learn the language. I want to go there and learn the language. But once you get here, after 2 months, you don't even think about it anymore because it comes natural. All you think about is the new friendships that you're making. The culture is becoming a little bit more yours, and you have to understand if that's what you want for the rest of your life. Yes, the university is important, and the course you're gonna follow, you're gonna study is gonna be important. But first, you want to see if that's the place you want to live in. You want to see if that's your place in the world. Because if it's not, search for something else. Try and keep trying until you find something that is gonna be yours.
Thank you very much, Gaiya.
No problem.
For your wonderful experience and sharing it with us. Probably that's a routine, but like it is, when you invite somebody agrees to do something great for you, like giving this interview and share of experience and your thoughts about being in Canada as a student.
Yeah.
And like everybody can get a student visa. Yeah, it's pretty like easy.
Yes.
So thank you very much again.
Thank you.
I hope that you get all the needed information. If you have any questions, just subscribe and write a comment and I'll answer it.
Yeah, we'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, guys, still here and we'll keep in touch, I'm sure, for a long time. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.